Forbes released its list of the most valued franchises in sports. The Rockies are now valued at $885 million. That is up 49% from last year. Good for Dick Monfort. He's a businessman. Yeah. He invested in a product. I say kudos to him for having the foresight to say this was the right investment for me. One reason that value has gone up is because the increase in revenue, although it's only 9%. But it didn't go up as much as it probably should have compared to other teams. And the reason is their television ratings are awful. Well, first of all, they don't have a good television contract. Okay. And it's all about television. But they have 37,000 viewers a game.
That's the average.
Now think about this for a second. On some nights, there are more people in that ballpark
than watching on
TV? Watching at home. That is staggering to me.
What is that rating? What does it come out to? What is it, like a
It's actually negative.
2.2 or and that?
It's low. I'll put it to you this way. I did a little research this morning. Okay, one of the top news stations in town.
Yep.
Their 10 o'clock newscasts, 154,000 viewers for their 10 o'clock news.
Wow.
That is 4 times what the Rockies get.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They've put themselves in this position, and I have had this conversation with Dick Monfort because if you look at him as a businessman, he's a good businessman in regard to pure business. The business of baseball, I have told him, why don't you leverage the value of the product into the present day payroll?
Yeah.
You know, the old spend more to make more.
Yeah.
And they just won't do it. They create this, they project revenue, and the payroll comes in at that. So this year, let's say it's going to be about 95 million, 97, and they want to be near a break-even point. And I tell them, look at the interest you have in stadium now. What if your payroll was 125 million? What if you had 2 legitimate starters and
James Shields or something like
James Shields, for instance. What if they had gone to James Shields with 100 million? James Shields would have taken that. Yeah. And we can all say it's stupid, but the only way they're going to get a guy like that is dramatically overpay. Right. And you assume one of those years the guy's going to be terrible anyway because of surgery. So you're paying 4 years for 100 million.
Right.
That's crazy. But is it really crazy if you get 35,000? Because what did they average last year? 28, Eric? 28, 29,000?
Sounds about right. Yeah.
If they were good, they'd be at 35,000.
Yeah.
Right?
And like you said, more attention on the team.
More eyeballs on the set, right?
Whether it's someone in the stadium, whether it's someone on their couch.
I think this city would explode.
They've shown that.
If this team was good.
Right.
Really good. I think you would go Broncos, Rockies, Avalanche, Nuggets, Nuggets, Avalanche.
Yeah.
Rockies have a chance to be a clear number 2 when they're good,
right?
Because because they're a regional sport, a regional fan base, I should say. Whereas the Nuggets, it feels more like a city, a state thing, and Avs is a little different. But certainly baseball. People come from Wyoming, Montana. They come here to vacation and
make it a 3-day trip and get tickets.
Nebraska, they come from all over.
Yeah, when I've got buddies, Troy, who will be like, "Oh, I want to come to town. Let me make sure the Rockies are in town so I can catch a game." I mean, it's clearly a destination. And we talked about it earlier in the week. I mean, that stadium, that party deck, that's fun. That's the best bar in Lodo. I mean, that's an experience. Whether you go and watch every pitch or whether you go and watch one pitch, and I've been on both sides of it. Normally, this is the latter.
Pitcher?
Yeah, exactly. Pitcher, that's right.
Which side of the pitcher you're on?
That's right. Yeah.
But it's just sad that these things have to be mutually exclusive. You can have the party deck and still spend money on payroll.
Yeah.
It's always, why can't it be both?
Right.
And it's always with the Rockies. It's a one or the other. Well, we're going to upgrade the stadium. It's a beautiful experience, but the product is not good.
Right.
Why does it have to be one or the other all the time?
Yeah,
and I've never understood that.
Yeah.
Because the fans, as he said, they have such a thirst and appetite for it here. They showed that in '93 when everyone said the biggest mistake baseball made was giving Denver a franchise. St. Petersburg is great, Tampa Bay's great, and Denver's a joke, the market's a joke, they better build this stadium, they're going to be done, and it supported it from day one.
Yeah.
Terrible baseball teams throughout the years. They've had, 3 playoff berths in history, 1 World Series, and the support has been consistent throughout.
But in all fairness, I grew up a Cubs fan. I mean, the Cubs have been awful for over a decade.
Okay.
This is what we used to say all the time, okay? And I covered the Cubs. I did the pre- and post-game shows for the Cubs. If you took Wrigley Field and pulled it out of the ground and stuck it in Schaumburg, Illinois,
People would still go.
no, they wouldn't.
Oh.
No, they wouldn't. If you took Coors Field and lifted it up, and I apologize to anyone who lives in, pick a city, Commerce City, and put it in Commerce City, build it and they will come. You think people are flocking out to Commerce City?
Well,
with no bars in the area?
Well, I guess, that's
Right,
the
it's
key
the
thing,
area
is the
around
area around it. And that's a good thing with stadiums in general these days. Camden Yards started it. You build in the modern era. You
Right.
build the downtown stadium, and we saw it here in Denver.
Comiskey Park didn't do that. I mean, you want to talk about Jerry Reinsdorf screwing that pooch.
Missing, those new stadiums, and even the Nationals one I've been to, the area hasn't grown around it. Some of them misjudge it, to your point, Eric, that the stadium will overrule everything else. Not always, but
Right.
the perfect marriage of Lodo and Coors Field. I mean, there is no better place in it. I've been to every stadium, I think, but Minnesota.
I've been to Minnesota.
There's no better marriage of nightlife, social restaurant, the entertainment district and the stadium. Because everything's within walking distance. The summer nights have a wonderful climate, and it's just, why does it have to be exclusive of having a good baseball team?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what's just crazy to me. It
Right.
could be everything. Why
Right.
not be everything instead
Right.
of this to this, the family atmosphere,
Right.
the party deck?
Yeah.
Why not have a great
I
product?
mean, in all honesty, you look at someone like myself. Like, I'm good looking, but I'm also amazing. You know what I mean? Why
Why
can't
not be both?
Why can't they be both? You know what I'm saying?
You know, when it came to building Comiskey Park, another team that I covered, it would not surprise me on the south side of Chicago when they were trying to build that stadium, that the workers were trying to do things as some of the residents there were reloading their clips. That was the only way to build that stadium.
Yikes.
That area
That's
is
crazy.
so bad that nobody wants to be around the south side of Chicago. And that's what White Sox fans will say. Well, we're better and more loyal than Cubs fans because we are willing to drive to a bad part of town with nothing in the area. I mean, have you? Well, I know you have. Have you covered a San Antonio Spurs game?
Sure.
That's an awful area.
Oh man.
San Antonio is?
Well, where the stadium is.
stadium
Oh, okay.
is.
I
There's
thought-
City's nice.
nothing
City's
there.
nice.
Really? Okay.
Nothing there. It's
Yeah. One time I waited for a cab for an hour because the cab decided he didn't want to drive in that part of town late at night on whatever night of the week.
That happened with the Nationals when they were playing at RFK because it's at that intersection of Maryland, Washington, D.C., and
Sure.
like these three, and you couldn't get a cab to come out there. It was the
Yeah.
same thing. Like, it's odd. We're not going out there. I'm like, you can't get a cab? Like, it's not a suggestion.
Right.
I'm
I will
actually-
pay you money. I will give you currency.